home because a break-in was reported in Laketon Township near Muskegon. Two Michigan State Police troopers saw the suspect as he was leaving the residence. State police say he drew a gun on the troopers and they shot and killed him. The troopers were not injured. They have been placed on administrative. This was used and an investigation is ensuing. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom at 752-0790. It's 910. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology Forecast. We'll see areas of fog Tuesday morning with mostly cloudy skies and a high of 54. Going into Tuesday night, we'll see isolated rain showers with cloudy skies and a low at 42. Wednesday, rain showers continue with mostly cloudy skies and a high of 56 degrees. As we go into Thursday, we'll see isolated rain showers throughout the day with partly sunny skies here and there and a high of 53. As we go to the end of the work week, Friday we'll see cloudy skies and a high of 47. And Saturday we'll see isolated rain showers with cloudy skies and a high of 44 for the day. I'm staff meteorologist Amanda Edwards with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently 38.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions. From around your block to around the world, the Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
And good morning to you. Welcome to another edition of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW from my Second on Spirit home studio, brought to you by Linda Shepard at Pinnacle Realty. For all of your residential and commercial real estate needs, give Linda a call at 295-7713 and 989 area code, of course, 989-295-7713, or visit her inside the Point at M46 and M47 in Saginaw Township, where you'll also find Cafe 476 and its delicious soups and foods and beverages. Later on, we'll have open phones on the Art Lewis Show, and at 11 o'clock, we will talk to Tom Roy about the Fireworks Committee and what's up in the Saginaw Fireworks. But we're going to begin this hour talking about specialty courts, and we have a number of them here in Saginaw County. We're going to find out how they're doing, and we are going to do that by chatting with Supreme Court Justice Elizabeth Clement. Madam Justice, good morning.
Good morning, Art. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it. I think we need to start out with an overview of what specialty courts are and why we need them.
Yeah, and I want to say I really appreciate you taking the time to focus on our problem-solving courts, because they are all across Michigan and they are incredibly successful. And I'm honored to be able to share what we're doing in our courts around the state. So our problem-solving courts are a different way of working with people that are involved in the criminal justice system. And what they really do is focus on providing treatment and intent supervision to criminal offenders as an alternative to incarceration. We have a variety of different courts around drug and sobriety courts, mental health courts, veteran treatment courts, and other non-traditional type of courts. And they really came about because we had judges and court staff and law enforcement and prosecutors around the state years ago saying, we're seeing the same people come through the system. We know that they have underlying issues, and we really need to address those to help these individuals, tackle what their problems are, and really focus on healing and getting better so that they stop reoffending.
So I guess the next obvious question is, what's the track record? How well is it done?
Well, thankfully, we have been collecting data for many years. We issue a report every year that tracks what we're doing. The Michigan Supreme Court, through SCALE, has training and programming for judges and court staff. We had 22 programs in 2021. And we have 203 problem-solving courts in Michigan. That includes 135 drug treatment and sobriety courts, 41 mental health courts, and 27 veteran treatment courts. And the data shows that for participants in each of these programs, what break it down based on our various problem-solving courts. But overall, what we see is that of those that successfully complete the program, we see a reduction in convictions for new offenses. We see an increase in employment and less impact on the communities that they live in because they're getting the treatment and the supervision that they need on the front end, and that prevents them from coming back through the criminal justice system.
So I have to believe then that it has positive impact on recidivism.
Absolutely. But when we look at our drug treatment courts, participants are more than 4 times less likely to be convicted of a new offense, which is incredible. We're comparing participants in one of our problem-solving courts to participants that just go through the regular probation criminal justice system, and we know that the impact is drastic, and that plays out in communities, as well as impacting our county jails and the prison system.
I would have to believe, though, in order for this to be successful, you have to have a lot of community partners who are willing to provide the services.
Absolutely, and I would be remiss if I didn't start with our judges and our court staff, because these are voluntary programs. We do not require our courts to offer them, but what we have is judges that see the need in their community and have very good relationships with law enforcement, prosecutors, defense attorneys, and other treatment professionals, and they pull all of those folks together and create a team that surround the participants and give them all of the support that they need. And I want to highlight that this is very intense supervision. What is required of participants is very regular interaction with the court and with the treatment teams, and a lot of check-in to make sure that they're identifying if there's new issues that are arising or if there's more services that are needed. And our judges and court staff do this in addition to the regular work that they do. They have their regular dockets, and then they carve out specific time to be able to offer these programs in their communities.
So the case assignment is a little different here, isn't it? Because normally in normal cases, if you have a group of circuit court judges, for example, as a case comes in, it gets assigned to a certain judge. If it's a veterans case, is it going to go to Judge A? And if it's a domestic violence case, it's going to go to Judge B, and a drug case goes to Judge C. They get all of those. Is that the way it works? One judge per problem court?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and it works differently in every county. But in Saginaw area, for example, the way that it works is you have someone that interacts with the criminal justice system, and a referral can be made to court from a probation officer or a prosecutor or other court staff that have identified an individual as a good option to enter one of these programs. So you mentioned veteran treatment courts. We have a veteran treatment court in the 70th District Court. That's Judge Hoffman. And so if an individual is identified as a veteran that is a good candidate for veteran treatment court, they would be referred to the program that Judge Hoffman has.
So given the success of the courts that are in place right now, what other courts would you like to see?
Oh, that's a great question. I think Michigan is a leader in our veteran treatment courts around the country. We have 27 currently, and I anticipate seeing those expand. We have judges around the state that are identifying new needs in their community, especially post what we've seen with the pandemic over the last several years. Me personally, I'm very involved with child welfare and juvenile justice, and I'd love to see our family and in the state as well as treatment courts specifically for juveniles.
Let's just to dive a little deeper into some of these problem courts. Let's take the Veterans Court, for example. If a veteran interacts with the criminal system, Whether that veteran gets to the veteran court, is it dependent on the crime committed?
There are certain things in statute that make someone eligible or ineligible for the program. But I can say that, I really feel that these teams work as hard as they can to be able to provide this opportunity for a veteran. And one of the best questions that can be asked is, a lot of individuals don't identify as veterans because maybe they were never deployed or they weren't in combat. And so that preliminary question that needs to be asked is, have you ever served in the military? Because that veteran treatment court is an option for them, even if they were never deployed or were never in combat. So these to be able to identify as many individuals as they can to refer to these treatment courts. There are things that would exclude someone from participating, but those are cases that are going to be, much more serious, and that maybe that individual has an extensive criminal record, or that the actual crime that was committed, they're just not going to be eligible for one. We're looking at those individuals that are having, more of an initial, or maybe they've had a couple of interactions with the justice system, but they're offenses that have a drug or alcohol or mental health underlying condition, that if we can get them the help for those issues, we really feel like we can get them back on track in being a productive member of society.
Justice Clements, can you hang on for one more segment? I've got to take a break.
Please.
All right.
Absolutely.
We'll be back with you in just a couple of moments. We're talking to Justice Elizabeth Clements from the Michigan Supreme Court about problem-solving courts. More ahead on the Art Lewis Show.
Annette Glenn believes defunding police is radical and dangerous. Michigan's murder rate, 14th highest in the nation. Violent crime, above the national average. Annette Glenn backed more funding for police to keep us safe. Paid for by Annette Glenn for State Senate.
Here's the deal. I've had constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating for years. I've tried a lot of laxatives and fiber supplements, but my symptoms keep coming back.
You could have a chronic condition called irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Linzess, prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain. Stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsor.
Time to play the WSGW Baseball Bucks presented by Stone Specialists. Right now, you can qualify to win the daily cash prize of $1,000 by entering the following word online at WSGW.com. The word this hour is Cardinals, as in the St. Louis Cardinals. It's an Alpha Media company-wide contest. Must be 18 or older to play. One winner chosen each day. Complete rules at WSGW.com. Baseball Bucks presented by Stone Specialists on WSGW.
The following message was paid for by Superior Home Buyers. Do you have a home to sell in bad condition? Call Superior Home Buyers. We'll give you a cash offer in as little as 24 hours. You don't have to worry about fixing it up. We'll even clean the property. We buy houses for cash in as little as 7 days. No commissions, no fees, no hassle. Call for a free cash offer now. 800-537-4898. Get a fair cash offer fast. Call 800-537-4898.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report. Carnival Cruise Line shares are getting a boost from upbeat demand for travel. Carnival says the week of March 28th to April 3rd was the busiest for bookings in the company's history. It only has one ship that is not back in guest operation, and that will return to service in May. Amazon wants to provide from a fleet of satellites. The Wall Street Journal says Project Kuiper, Amazon's planned broadband satellite unit, has secured up to 83 planned launches to send satellites into orbit over a 5-year stretch. It would compete with the service offered by Elon Musk's SpaceX. Airbnb says it has suspended operations in Russia and Belarus. The action was planned because Airbnb says it's not able to process transactions with some financial institutions. That's your Fox Business. Cosola, invested in you.
Any supplier can drop a box outside your door. But if you want a partner who delivers great customer service too, rely on Cintas. Your dedicated service reps can deliver what you need to help your business run smoothly. From essential hygienically cleaned apparel, fire protection services to first aid and safety supplies. That service you can't get from a box.
Oh, I'm ready!
Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that see. That's AUDACY.
Research shows people remember radio ads that remind them of the past. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, here's an ad that'll really take you back.
Back in my day, I heard a voice from the radio say, Liberty Mutual customizes my home insurance so I only pay for what I need. I'm getting on in years now, but heavens to Betsy, there are some things an old fella like me just never forgets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
You may be into punk rock, soft rock, classic rock, R&B, hip-hop, or house, country, techno, or techno country. But no matter what kind of music you listen to, here's something else you should hear. Please consider getting vaccinated. Talk to your pharmacist today about Comirnaty, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA. This message brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
In a high fly ball left field, way back and gone. Robbie Grossman, 17th of the year. The countdown is on. 3 days until opening day. WSGW is your station for the Tigers.
And we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show. We are chatting with Supreme Court Justice Elizabeth Clements about problem-solving courts. And Justice Clements, I have to ask, it would seem to me, as an outsider looking at this, that there could be a lot of crossover. And by that, I mean, let's take the case of maybe a veteran who interacts with the judicial system, but also suffers from mental health. Do the two courts work together? Does the Veterans Court and the Mental Health Court, do the judges get together to decide what happens to this particular person?
Yeah, that's a great question, because we do have a lot of crossover, whether that's with drug or alcohol and mental health, or with our veterans as well. The veteran treatment courts really came out of a need where we had veterans that were in our other problem-solving courts, and we had professionals identify that they just weren't as successful as they really should have been. And so the veteran treatment courts were created to really focus on the veteran and what they've experienced, whether that was, from drug or alcohol or mental health issues. So all of those things are handled through the veteran treatment courts. All of the professionals that are involved there can handle whether that's drug or alcohol or mental health issues. That can all be handled there. For our other courts, we're going to have individuals that are in the mental health court that also issues with drug or alcohol, and that mental health court is set up to be able to identify and address those issues. So we try to put someone in the appropriate court for what that I think that primary concern is, and so if mental health is seems to be the primary concern, even if they have those other existing issues, that person is probably the best candidate. And they might work the other way. If somebody's in a drug or sobriety court, that they might have mental health issues, that court is able to help identify that and then get them the appropriate treatment for that.
So let's dive a little deeper into how this might work. Let's stay with the mental health court, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Judge is the final arbiter, but not all judges are experts in mental health. So you have a judge who is handling the mental health court. When that particular person comes before the bench, who does the judge consult with to make determinations of mental health? How does that function?
So there's a full team that works with the judge and the court staff, and they meet regularly. So they'll have before a court is in session and problem-solving court participants are present at their session. That entire team with the judge and all of the professionals around the table, and they talk about each and every participant and what those needs are. So an individual, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think that our judges that run our mental health courts have become experts in mental health, but they rely on the professionals in the community. And so an individual will be sent, for the proper assessments, and a plan will be put in place. And the judge really relies on the rest of the team to help make those decisions of what's best for that participant.
Can an individual who finds themselves arrested, for example, request one of these courts, or is it strictly up to the prosecutor and others as to who gets to where? They
absolutely can request, and we've had individuals or their family members, identify that there are really substantial underlying issues, and that they need help, and they can do that through their defense counsel. I feel that our courts are very open about the programs that they have, and if it's not offered, absolutely, an individual can request for an individual to be evaluated to see if they would be a good fit in the program.
You said something interesting there, because obviously if you find yourself before the criminal court, you're going to have an attorney in your corner. That is also true in these problem-solving courts? You're represented by attorney?
Absolutely. Yep. There's a defense attorney that is a member of the team, and sits around the table for those team meetings to talk about each participant and make sure that their rights are being protected.
So let me understand, because I'm a little confused on that. The defense attorney is a member of the team, so that everyone who comes through that court gets the same attorney, or can you bring your own?
So the way that it works is an individual interacts with the criminal justice system. They will have an attorney at the beginning that is either hired or appointed to them.
Right. That
attorney will represent them up until the point that they have decided or agreed to enter a problem-solving court, and then they shift over to the problem-solving court. So they may be before a different judge, or it could be the same judge, just depending on how that initial assignment works. They will have a defense attorney with them, advise them of what the program is, what rights they may be giving up by pleading guilty and going into the program, what opportunities may be provided to them by agreeing to go into the program. And then once that individual enters the program, there is a defense attorney that works with the team as all of the participants are working through. If there happened to be an issue, so let's say a participant in the program violated, the program. Let's say they weren't going and doing drug testing, and the judge, and the team decided, this is the right fit. This program isn't working for this individual. The defense attorney is present to interact and talk with the team about that, and then to also talk with the participant about what the next steps are.
The one word I haven't heard throughout the discussion is juvenile. The juvenile court, in effect, is like a problem-solving court, isn't it? Because it only handles one thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that our judges that handle juvenile cases really have this problem in just the everyday working that they do in the court. We do have 12 juvenile drug treatment courts, and we have 8 juvenile mental health courts that really are set up to take the problem-solving court model and have it be more intensive. But I would absolutely agree that our judges in our juvenile courts take the problem-solving court model and a piece of it, but they employ that in their day-to-day work with the juvenile.
Well, Justice Clements, I want to thank you for spending some time with us this morning. I have one other question for you. It's a little outside the problem courts, but I just feel I have to ask you this because you spent a lot of years as legal counsel in government and things of that nature. And then you get appointed in 2017 to the Supreme Court and elected in 2018. How different is life for you on the court as opposed to being a legal counsel and having to not make judicial decisions?
Oh, it's a very different job, and it's one that I absolutely love. I spend the majority of my time working on the cases that work their way through the court system and up to the Michigan Supreme Court, and then I have the opportunity to work on things like problem-solving courts and child welfare and juvenile justice, and I've been passionate about those areas for so long. So it's a great balance. Being able, and I'm very much enjoying it.
Oh, we thank you very much for your time this morning. Love to chat with you again sometime. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Art.
Talk to you again. Bye-bye now.
Okay, great. Bye.
Justice Elizabeth Clements from the Michigan Supreme Court. We thank her for her time this morning. We thank you for listening. And we'll switch over to open phones now for the remainder of the program. You can give us a call at 989-752-6111.
At Wildfire Credit Union, our team will tell you that everything we do is for our members because it's about you always.
Carl came in on Monday upset because his truck needed more repairs. I completely understand because that's his livelihood. The new. So I took him in my office right away and I was able to approve him for an auto loan. He was very happy to be able to leave with that check in his hand to go pick up his vehicle. He even came back a few hours later just to thank me and show me his new truck. I love being able to turn around someone's day.
Knowing members by name, going the extra mile to help them save money, understanding when they really need help. That's Wildfire Credit Union. It's what we do every day. Find out for yourself. Call 800-227-2328. Click on wildfirecu.org or come by any Wildfire location to experience banking the way it's supposed to be, where it's about you always. Wildfire Credit Union. Distinctively better. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Moments like making my kids my famous meatballs mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness, pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
Where are those receipts?
Tax day is nearly here,
I held on to those.
and Chanel is
Why
stressing.
do I always wait to the last minute?
Her small business needs a bookkeeper to crunch some big numbers.
All these spreadsheets make my head spin. None of this adds up.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
Hey, moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, WSGW and Fashion Square Mall are inviting you to bring out the kids and grandkids for some fun. Saturday, April 16th at Fashion Square Mall, it's Our Kids World from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. 3 hours of activities and events, sponsored by France. Family-friendly day for everyone, powered by Sarah Automotive in Saginaw. Enjoy the bounce houses, brought to you by Bouncing Bellas and MBS International Airport. Easter Bunny Pictures, sponsored by Freeland Sports Zone Summer Camps. An Easter Egg Hunt, sponsored by LifeChurchMichigan.com. A stage for events, sponsored by Capoco Credit Union, with some prize giveaways, on-site vendors, and more. Something for all ages. It's Our Kids World at Fashion Square Mall. Saturday, April 16th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Presented by Fashion Square Mall and WSGW. Find information online at WSGW.com. You are with WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
We're back with you here on WSGW. Open phones for the remainder of the program. I pulled this article because it represents so much of what I believe and what I have said for almost my entire career. And you've probably heard me say at one point or another that I don't believe most Americans live at the extremes, the far left, far right. Most people live in the middle. Well, there's a headline now, and I really I grabbed this because it hit me right between the eyes. The most popular politicians are moderates. And they include in here a poll of, well, it's not, it's a compilation of polls of moderates and how their net approvals are significantly higher than the extremes. And now you'd expect certain people to be on this list. You would expect, for example, Susan Collins to be on the list. Well, she is. You would expect Mitt Romney to be on this list, But there are some on this list that I go, wait a minute now. But as I think about it, now hear me out on this one. Gretchen Whitmer is on this list, our Democratic governor, and her net approval is plus 20. 0 plus 1 in terms of a partisan lean. So her net approval is plus 19. And I began to think about that because a lot of us would not look at Governor Whitmer as being moderate. But in her career and in talking to people who knew her as a senator, they said she was a moderate, that she could work both sides of the aisle, and more often than not did sit down with both sides and come to compromise. Well, what happened when she got in office? COVID happened. And she wasn't very moderate during that time. But it appears now that she's moving back to that more moderate position, because in talking to folks in the legislature, they are hearing more from her. They are seeing more willingness to listen, and that a number of things have been getting done. I just with that, it just hit me when I looked at it. I said, really? But yeah. And apparently this survey conducted over a long period of time proves the point. And I've lived that way all my life, believing that the moderates were the majority. And I still believe it true today. All right. Chris is in Midland. Chris, good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
I've heard the two judges in the last couple of weeks that you've talked to about the new special courts.
Yep.
And I haven't heard how, or I haven't heard it explained how the quote unquote teams that help provide treatment for the people that are going through their system have been formed. I hear a lot of backslapping about the court, but I don't hear how those treatment teams are organized, or who's paying for them, and how they're being paid for, and things like that.
Well, I think the state pays for it, because it's the same thing. If you go to court and you're arrested and you go to prison, the state pays for it. But
was there an authorization for spending? I mean, how did all that?
It's just all part of the court budget. It's all part of the court's budget, and actually, they feel that it saves money in the long run. It's the judges and the community mental health people and what have you. We'll look at the mental health court, all right? So the judges would sit down with somebody from community mental health, and they would come up with a practitioner to join the team. Defense attorneys would be selected from anybody that wants to do it. Not all attorneys may want to do it. The right people are chosen based on their expertise, and they form the team. And it's been very successful.
All right. I guess I would love to hear more explanations on how that really operates, just to get a better handle on it. I worked at the Mental Health Authority in Saginaw for 25 years, so I have a little experience on how they work. But as far as people that are referred in federal money, they're funding them. But I just didn't know how the court was funded, and if these special courts are now placing an increased cost to the courts, I guess I would just love to know how all that works.
Well, actually, it'd be a reduced cost, because the necessity to send someone to prison is reduced. It's cheaper to treat them and keep them out of prison than it is to house them in prison for a long period of time.
Well, that I agree with. I think I understand and agree with that concept. I just,
Yeah, well, we'll get some answers for you. We'll do it again. We'll do it again. We will do it again.
All right.
Appreciate it,
Thank you
though.
very much.
Thanks, Chris. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
All right, let's take a pause. Lines open for you. Give us a call on the Art Lewis Show for this Tuesday morning.
It's time to think about your pig. You know, the propane tank in your backyard that heats your home? Well, there's no better company to fill your pig than Forward Energy, covering 23 counties. Forward Energy is a family-owned and operated propane supplier that's been fueling area homes, farms, and businesses since 1925. Fill your pig this year. Visit forwardenergy.com to find out about new customer pricing and programs.
Go forward with Forward Energy.
could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh and Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AA Wealth Management, LLC.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number? Oh no, he's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Rob tried to manage his constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating day after day. After realizing it was irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, he found another way and finally said yes to adding Linzess.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that?
Vending Ooma and their all-in-one phone, video, and collaboration solution.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Hello, Michigan. I'm John Gonzalez.
And I'm Amy Sherman. We've got big news.
We're back! And you can join us Sundays at 1 p.m. as we once again go behind the midnight.
We'll take you to every corner of the state, sharing the stories that make Michigan great.
Find a hidden gem or a new favorite spot that might be located right in your hometown.
We'll go above the bridge. State.
Join us Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on 100.5 and 790 News Radio, WSGW.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robin show,
Bette Midler says it's your fault you're paying so much for gas.
Yeah, okay, Beth. Thanks a lot. Go away, please.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
All right, back with you. And just one other note on judges. Since it's in the news, we're talking about Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. And I have said all along that it's a fait complete that she's going to be confirmed. Well, that was certainly made more tenable and probable yesterday with the announcement of Senators Murkowski and, of course, Romney joining Susan Collins from the Republican side, that they will vote for the confirmation. And I chuckle because I think back to when Ketanji Brown Jackson was first nominated, and the discussion was, well, will she be confirmed? Because it's a 50-50 Senate, and it would take the vice president to break the tie, and maybe there's a Democrat that won't vote for her. And I said, no, I think there'll be a few Republicans that will come forth and vote for her. And that's been proven to be correct. So the vote will happen probably Friday, and then she will be seated after the current term expires. Judge Breyer is staying on through the end of the current term, which puts it into, I think, June or July. And then Judge Jackson will then become Justice Jackson and become a Supreme Court judge. But I knew all along that this was going to happen, that there would be moderate Republicans who would cross over to vote for her, that play a little less of the political game, if you will. And, a lot of what's happened has happened as reaction to what happened to a couple of conservative appointments. Justice Kavanaugh was drug over the coals, and the Republicans are fighting back now, with the only tools they have. And remember, appointments to the Supreme Court are probably the most important things a president of the United States can do. Because these appointments are for life, they make permanent impact on the court. And we can see that in what happened with President Trump. He nominated 3 and literally shifted the balance of the court 6-3. Although there are no guarantees. Remember that. A president can nominate the most conservative person in the world only to find out when they get on the bench that they rule unexpectedly. Chief Justice Roberts is a perfect example. Nominated to the bench by a Republican, conservative values, yet in his second year on the bench and as chief judge, he was the deciding vote to allow the Affordable Care Act to exist. Something that would not have been expected. And it has happened other times. And I say, hallelujah. Not that I agree with the decisions, whether I do or not. What I agree with is a judge who looks at each case individually and doesn't judge the case on political bent, but on what they see as constitutional law. That to me is their job. To me, their job is to measure the cases before them against the Constitution and adjudicate on how they stand up against that measurement. Take a break. Next hour, open phones. We'll be back.
Hometown feel and big time winning. That's Saginaw Eagles Landing, the place where everyone greets you with smile after smile. In the casino, at the restaurants, or in the hotel. This is a getaway that makes you feel right at home. We've got hundreds of slots, great food, and a comfy place to stay. So come on in and see what the good times are all about. Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Real fun, real friendly. Visit for complete rules and details.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
My sweet cheeks feeling squeaky clean when Charmin's rolling behind the scenes. Charmin TP gives me those cheeky clean feels. That ultra strong hype is all for reals. Those TP rolls got me a Charmin clean tuckus. Cheek to cheek feeling oh so shooketh.
Charmin Ultra Strong just cleans better. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
At the United States Postal Service, we deliver packages fast and your customers what they want when they need it. We're delivering for one-stop shops, mom and pops, pop-ups, startups, retail, wholesale, large scale, small biz, big box, customers, customizers. So no matter what business you're in, we'll always be delivering for you. USPS, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/delivering.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. The most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. That's 800-6681.
All right, boy, time flies, I'll tell you. Wow. First hour in the can. And we will move on to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show. It will be open phones during the next hour. And we will also, of course, move on to Focus later on. We'll focus on the fireworks in Saginaw with Tom Roy.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw. WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has just weighed in on the massacre of hundreds of civilians near Ukraine's capital.
It's a deliberate campaign to kill, to torture, to rape, to commit atrocities.
Correspondent Deborah Pata went to Bucha.
Tanya Nidashkivska found her dead husband in a pile of bodies at the foot of a basement staircase. I'm begging you to do something. Make peace so no one ever grieves again.
Amy McCormick. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg says Vladimir Putin has been forced to change his military objectives.
This is a crucial phase of the war.
Moving troops from northern Ukraine into Belarus to resupply and then concentrate on eastern Ukraine.
What we are expecting is a new, very concentrated Russian offensive in Donbass to try to take the whole of Donbass. That's also the same area where Ukraine has most of their armed forces.
And that will have NATO allies discussing how best to protect those forces with additional assistance. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is ready to address virtually in a few minutes. Police in Sacramento have just announced a second arrest in Sunday morning's mass shooting that left 6 people dead. They say the suspect is the brother of the first man arrested. He was arrested while he was hospitalized with injuries from the gunfire. Penelope Scott's grown son among the victims.
A lot of stress, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. I feel like I got a hole in my heart.
As just learned, Ivanka Trump is scheduled to appear this hour before the January 6th attack. Her husband, Jared Kushner, appeared voluntarily 2 days ago. The first international criminal court trial on war crimes in Darfur is underway in Amsterdam. Reporter Lauren Kamato is there.
Almost 2 decades after the crimes were committed, alleged former militia leader Ali Muhammad Ali Abdulrahman listened as the court's prosecutor, Karim Khan, told judges that he was a key leader of the Janjaweed militia, which means devils on horseback, using his own ordering the murder of 5 orphans.
It's not a case of command responsibility where the military superior or civilian is far from the battlefield. He participated and he ordered.
More than 20 years after they disappeared, 2 of Charles Darwin's notebooks with sketches on his theory of evolution have been returned to Cambridge University. Jim Secord is director of the Darwin Correspondence Project.
They're some of the most remarkable documents in the whole history of science.
Someone left the books in a gift bag on a library floor. This is CBS News.
Hire with minimal effort and maximum success. Hiring platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
It's time to think about your pig. You know, the propane tank in your backyard that heats your home? Well, there's no better company to... Forward Energy, covering 23 counties. Forward Energy is a family-owned and operated propane supplier that's been fueling area homes, farms, and businesses since 1925. Fill your pig this year. Visit forwardenergy.com to find out about new customer pricing and programs.
Go forward with Forward Energy.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our
pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora habla.
Said now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
I love my Charmin Super Mega Goes last long, it's TP goes, yeah. Charmin's got lasts forever on my buns. Only Super Mega when I'm cleaning. Charmin's got my booty believing.
Charmin Super Mega Roll is 6 regular rolls in one. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Rocket grab.
Why are you paying full price when you know that you can save money at RocketGrabPlus.com? You can check out our deals right now from Salon Blue Day Spa and Boutique, 120 Fitness, Uplift Creative Center, Woody's Hot Dogs, Wonder Burger, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Cloudy skies at 39 degrees. Hi, good morning. I'm Mike Percha. Social Security offices are reopening after being closed for the past 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. All Social Security offices in the state will reopen this Thursday, including the offices in Saginaw at 611 East Genesee Avenue, 1940 Sweeney Street in Mount Pleasant, and in Bay City at 11. Appointments are not required, but are strongly encouraged. Social Security services are also available online at ssa.gov. A man and a woman suffered serious burns after an off-road vehicle crash in Gladwin County on Sunday. A woman and a 22-year-old Saginaw County man were in the ORV on state land west of Adams Road near the Island Lake Road intersection. DNR conservation officers investigating the crash say the riders were parked at the Gladwin County snowmobile trailhead with a group who they were riding with when the man drove over a small dirt hill, causing the onto its front end. The ORV overturned and caught fire. Both riders were wearing a safety harness. The man was able to crawl from the vehicle, though the woman needed to be removed from her harness. An unidentified man at the scene helped the pair and received burns as a result. He was taken to Hurley Medical Center in Flint for treatment. The man and woman were airlifted to Hurley for treatment of burns also, where they're listed in stable condition. Ascension Medical Group Orthopedics and Sports Medicine will be offering free sports physicals for middle and high school students ages 14 and up on April 18th and the 19th from 4 to 8 p.m. The physicals will be given at 4677 Town Center on the second floor in Saginaw Township. Appointments are required. Students will need to bring a completed Michigan High School Athletic Association medical history and consent form signed by a parent or guardian. Forms are available online. Appointments can be made by calling the office. The parents or guardians are required to accompany students. WSGW News Time 10:07.
For almost 20 years, Linex has been the only place to go for quality spray-on bed liner. But did you know they also offer rust-proofing and undercoating?
Their exclusive process will keep your new or used vehicle protected.
The guys at Linex have the only wax-based rust-proofing and coat to ensure years of protection.
In fact, all new vehicles protected will get a lifetime warranty. No yearly touch-ups required.
And because the rust-proofing process is wax-based, you won't have any long-term dripping or mess to clean up later. Rust-proof your car, truck, or SUV and protect it year-round.
Linex is located on Wilder Road in Bay City.
Give them a call at 989-671-9820 or call them at their Grand Blanc location, 810-695-9000.
Remember, your new car, truck, or SUV gets a lifetime warranty with no yearly touch-up required.
Again, the number in Bay City is 989-671-9820 or 695-9000.
WSGW News Time 10:08. The weather forecast is coming up. Jurors are returning for a second day of deliberations in the trial of 4 men accused of conspiring to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Jurors were asked a question Monday about the definition of weapon, but otherwise gave no indication of the progress of their work. Adam Fox, Barry Croft Jr., Daniel Harris, and Brandon Caserta are charged with conspiracy. Croft is from Delaware, while the others are from Michigan. Jurors wanted to get a solid definition of the word, while the judge says it's something that can injure, kill, or destroy. Defense manipulated by an informant who was taking direction from the FBI. A new name is on the North Terminal at Detroit Metro Airport. A dedication ceremony renaming the terminal for Wayne County Executive Warren Evans took place Monday afternoon. Evans says it's humbling and amazing to see his name on the building.
Certainly you smile anytime there's some acknowledgement, but I don't think the reality, anywhere near the reality, and pull into the airport and see the signs have changed on the exterior of the building, those sorts of things. It's pretty.
Leaders say Evans is a dedicated public servant who has transformed the region for the better. According to a new report by the State Medical Society, the cost of health care, the need for greater access to doctors, and the quality of health care are some of the most pressing concerns for residents in Michigan. The report was commissioned by officials with the organization who created it to help lawmakers and caregivers understand and address the most critical problems that currently exist in healthcare. The entire report can be viewed through the Michigan State Medical Society's website. WSGW News Time 1010. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Here for today, we'll see a high into the mid-50s, winds out of the east around 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly cloudy skies and a low near 43. By Wednesday, a chance for rain showers here, cloudy, high of 56 degrees. And on Thursday, a chance for some rain showers late, cloudy, and a high of 50. Friday, another chance for rain late, mostly cloudy skies, high of 47. And on Saturday, cloudy sky conditions, a high around 42. Sunday, mostly sunny, high 51 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently, it's 39.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions. From around your block to around the world, The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
And a good morning. Welcome back. Our number 2 of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW for this Tuesday morning. Nice to have you with us. I'm from my Saginaw Spirit home studio, brought to you by Linda Shepard at Pinnacle Realty, 989-295-7713. The number to call for Linda. Have her go to work for your residential and commercial real estate needs. Or visit her at The Point, M46 and M47 in Saginaw Township. That's the former ISD building. Now, the home of Pinnacle Realty and lots more, including Cafe 476 and its delicious soups and foods and beverages. All right. Open phones this hour. Whatever's on your mind, 989-752-6111. Toll free 866-790-WSGW. Well, it would appear the President of the United States is no different than the rest of the country in terms of only hearing what he wants to hear in the news, which is why CNN has its following, who believe every word CNN says, and Fox News has its following, and they believe every word Fox News says. Well, Joe Biden privately, apparently, according to sources, considers Fox News as one of the most destructive forces in the nation. Well, I would guarantee half the country doesn't agree with that. He also considers Rupert Murdoch the most dangerous man in the world. Now go figure that out. I think I would have put Putin higher on the list. But Murdoch, of course, has all of those news outlets the president doesn't like. So Rupert Murdoch, the most dangerous man in the world, and Fox News, one of the most destructive forces in the nation. I am here to tell you from my viewpoint, and this is strictly my viewpoint. They both have their pluses, they both have their minuses. The minus is their 24-hour news services. And they can't find enough news to fill 24 hours. News that's justifiably news, presented as news. So what have they all done? They've all gone to these talking head formats. CNN and Fox both do it. They have these panels of like-minded individuals, and maybe they'll have one token individual from outside of their realm of thinking to say that they're balanced, but they're not. And they spew their feelings about everything you can think of from their viewpoint. You would have to be blind and deaf to not know that CNN comes to you from the left and Fox comes to you from the right. You'd have to be absolutely in another planet not to know that. And their audiences are like-minded because people like to hear their views reinforced. If you are a conservative, you want to hear people talking about things that you agree with. How do you think Rush Limbaugh, the late Rush Limbaugh, gained such a huge national audience from 1988 until the time he died? He was saying what they wanted to hear. CNN has its audience because they are saying what that audience wants to hear. And if you allow yourself to be trapped in only one side of the argument, you miss the argument. You never hear the other side, who may or may not have valid points, but you'll have no way of knowing it because you don't hear it. The days of the Huntley Brinkleys, Walter Cronkites of the world, as pure journalists who came out of journalism to be TV reporters and TV anchors, is gone. You have to remember that those days, the Huntley Brinkleys, the Walter Cronkites, they were beat reporters, they were war correspondents, they were international correspondents, and they delivered the news without coloration, without opinion. That's all changed today. It's a different world we live in. And then on top of that, social media. And the same holds true for social media. People tend to go to those social media sites that say what they want to hear. It's the nature of the beast today. We might as well get used to it. It's not going to change. It's not going anywhere. The good news and bad news is this. The bad news is it restricts your knowledge if you only listen to one side. The good news is we live in a country where you can choose to do that. We live in a country where both sides can establish their audiences. Nobody's forcing you to listen to the other side. I think it's a good idea to listen to both sides, but nobody's twisting your arm to do it. If you only want to listen to Fox News, have at it. If you only want to listen to CNN, have at it. That is the nature of the country we live in, and I can think of no better one. There are very few countries in the world that have as open and free a media as we do in the United States, or the freedom to choose to listen to either or watch either. That is a blessing of being an American. We can debate it, we can argue about it, but in the end, it's our decision and our decision alone. as to which we want to listen to, if either. That's the beauty of it. And founding fathers were smart enough to know that the country needed a watchdog on the government. Now, it can be argued that it's become a political animal, but in the end, for the most part, if government runs astray and either tries to take away our rights, do something that's negative impact on the country, we eventually hear about it. And we react as citizens. We react at the polling place. If we don't like the job a congressman is doing, we can vote him out. If we don't like the job the president is doing, we can vote him out. If we don't like the job the president is doing, we can make it more difficult on him by reversing power in Congress. We, the people, have that power. And a lot of it is based on what we hear in the media. Now, media is a big word. Understand that when we use the term media right now, we're talking about, for the most part, news media. Media is everything. I mean, if you have a box of Cheerios in front of you, the design of that box is media. Go to a motion picture, that's media. Read a book, that's media. Go online, that's media. Media is a lot of things. But in terms of general discussion, we're talking about it as the news media. So where do you get your news from? How many sources do you look at? I scan, I don't know, 4 or 5 newspapers every day online. And I'm getting more upset with them as I do it because they're all trying to figure out now how to make money at it. So half the stories you look at are for subscribers only, you know. But I find that if I find a story that's subscriber only, and then I go back to my search engine and put the title of that story in, I can find it elsewhere where it's not just for subscribers. But it's incumbent upon you to do that. It's incumbent upon you to do the research, to get the story from all angles. And then decide for yourself which way you view it. It really is on our shoulders. And why don't we take advantage of this great freedom we have? But again, go back to what I said in the beginning, people like to hear what they believe in, supported and reinforced. And so they tend to go to places that do that and tend not to listen to those who don't support them. Human nature. Human nature. So where do you get your news from? What's your primary source of news? In the old days, whatever that was, there was sort of a hierarchy of news. You listen to radio for the immediacy. If it happens, we can tell you it just happened and give you some basic information about it. And then you watched the nightly news for the video, for the picture, the film of what we were talking about. And then you picked up the newspaper in the evening or in the morning to read all the details that neither radio nor television could provide you. And that was the typical flow of news. Radio immediacy, television pictures, newspapers detail. Well, that's gone out the window. Newspapers are having struggles, to say the least. A lot of communities have tremendously reduced newspaper service. That's a shame in a lot of ways because they were the keepers of the history of the community. How many of you in your life had to maybe do a school paper or something like that, and you found yourself sitting in the library in front of a microfiche machine looking up news stories? Because those stories documented the history of the community. I've done it. I enjoyed it. I actually liked doing that. It was fun. But it's changed today. It's a different world we live in. Part of the responsibility for that is social media, which has been all encompassing in our lives. I don't think for the better, but that's my personal opinion. So I just thought I'd send that out, get your feelings on it. Bill is in Cass City. Bill, hang on. Got to take a break. I'll tell you what, let me get to Bill before I take the break. It wouldn't be fair to him. Bill, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you?
We're well, thanks.
You know what we get today, Art? What aggravates me? Give you a little of my background. I'm a Vietnam vet.
Thank you
and
for your
you would
service.
be surprised when, well, I was young and foolish. My pop said I was nuts, and I quit school and enlisted, and then I really showed him I was nuts because I volunteered for Vietnam. But anyway, I digress. He knew he was an idiot then. But I go to the VA, and God love them, they try their best, but they come up with some of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Well, they told us that was what you did. They weren't there. I was. I mean, they told us, well, we give you hearing protection. We did this, we did that. Like, really? And this, to believe what they want to believe, again, in your point, but you have to search a little further. I mean, when I was in Vietnam, the hearing protection, you stuck your filters from your cigarettes in your ears. They don't give you earplugs because you might get shot. You know, you can be deaf and pull a trigger. You just don't want to be shot and pull a trigger.
Yeah.
And they tell you this, and they mean well, but they don't have a clue. They tell you, well, we don't use Agent Orange, or we don't use this anymore. Well, come on out in the country. I can show you where you put spraying this stuff. You know, you use it properly. You don't put it on full
Well,
strength.
yeah, you don't spray it from an airplane, right?
You know, and people tend to do this. Biden, as a human being, I feel sorry for Joe Biden because I had a mother that passed away years ago, dementia, Alzheimer's type, and I see a lot of this happening with Joe. He's not a bad guy, but I don't think he's being trained and told, and I don't think it's really him. In the day, there wasn't a whole lot of difference between a Democrat and a Republican because they took care of you. You had a problem, they came and seen you, you seen them, whichever, you got the problem.
Well, a lot of them still do. I mean, a lot of them still do with personal service. You know, the voting record is one thing. How you serve your constituency is another.
You know, it's all about money and everything today, and power and prestige. I heard one of our presidential candidates a few years ago talking about Benghazi. I had family that was over in that, a military family that was over in that mess when it was going on. And this lady said, you people have to get over it. It's over and done with. It's never over and done with when you have family killed in a war.
No, that's true. Right. All right.
You carry that with you forever.
Yep. Bill, I appreciate it.
Well, you have a good one, Art.
Well, you too. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye now. I got to take a break, and we'll be back. We'll get to another bill when we return. But let me ask how you slept last night, because, you know, in today's world, we're asked to do more for less. So when you go to bed, and the theory is you spend a third of your life there. Well, you can do it and get a quality night's sleep with a quality mattress from Sanitary Mattress. And you can visit all the so-called sleep stores where you can rest assured the mattress you're using is manufactured right here in the Great Lakes Bay region to your specifications. Your dollars are spent and they stay right here in our local economy. Your time in bed may be cut short by today's demanding world, but don't be fooled. You can still get a quality night's sleep on a Sanitary Mattress. And they feature 1 hour window delivery of your mattress to your home, or 1 hour delivery window of your mattress to your home. If you have an RV or a boat, Sanitary Mattress will custom make a mattress for you, something the box stores can't do. Visit the Sanitary Mattress Factory and Showroom, serving this area since 1935. Set your GPS to 5343 Janes Road in Saginaw, just east of the Harry Brown Airport. Visit them on the web at sanitarymattress.com or call them at 753-1757. Sanitary Mattress.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope. Oh no, he's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Do you promise to love, honor, and cherish, forsaking all others?
I do.
I do.
And now, by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you roommates. Go forth.
That's not the vow you took. But if struggles with CPAP have you and your spouse sleeping in separate rooms, it might be. Inspire works inside the body with just the click of a remote. That's right, just a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation.
Talk to your doctor to see if Inspire is right for you. Review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks opened lower and turned mixed with the possibility of new sanctions against Russia, creating new uncertainty for investors. Oil prices have been gaining. Carnival Cruise Line says last week saw the most bookings ever in the company's history. Carnival shares opened up. The company says all of its ships will be back in guest operation in May. Tesla CEO Elon Musk, now Twitter's largest shareholder, will be joining Twitter's board. Twitter shares opened up 7%. Musk will not be allowed to own more than 14.9% of Twitter common stock, and he could be facing more action from the Securities and Exchange Commission. The Wall Street Journal says he did not properly report his purchase of 9% of Twitter shares. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Economists are warning that sanctions against Russia could trigger devastating inflation, worse than the current 40-year highs. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to protect your savings right now with a gold IRA through Birch Gold, the only company I trust for gold. Just text the word SHELTER to 989898 to get a free info kit on how to protect your savings with gold. Again, text 989898.
Annette Glenn shares the values of families in mid-Michigan. American Conservative Union ranked Annette's voting record 6th most conservative in the state house. We need Annette fighting for families in the state Senate. Paid for by Annette Glenn for state Senate.
Rob tried to manage his constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating day after day. After realizing it was irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, he found another way and finally said yes to adding Linzess.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
Major League Baseball's back, and we're going to play 162 games.
Tigers baseball is back.
Timeout! Timeout!
Hang on. First, you got to adjust the batting gloves. Now, fix the belt. Oh, and the hat. Okay, now, Tigers baseball is back.
Feels great to be back and just excited to get things going.
Get the latest from spring training and coverage.
Your home for the Tigers is WSGW.
Yes, baseball by the end of the week. Love it, love it, love it. All right, let's get back to our phones. Bill is in Frankenmuth. Bill, good morning. Bill, you there in Frankenmuth? No bill. All right. Sorry about that, Bill. Call back. By the way, got a note from our engineer at the radio station, Justin. Gets all his news from WSGW. We appreciate that, Justin. Of course, he's got to listen to make sure we're still on the air. We appreciate it, though. We really do. I want to talk just for a little bit about the Russian-Ukraine conflict and war criminals and all of that. I mean, as an outsider looking in, looking at the various news reports and the images, which are horrific, coming out of Bucha and other cities, in my estimation, it constitutes a war crime. I think it's a war crime because they invaded a sovereign country to start with. But what they're doing in that country and how they're doing it is just criminal. The question becomes, who do you hold accountable and how? You know, my wife asked the question of me this morning, is this really Putin ordering them to do this? And my response is, Putin is responsible one way or another, even if he didn't order it. If his generals are doing it and he's not firing them for doing it, then he's culpable. If he's ordered them to do it, it's even worse. Either way, it's a war crime in my book. How do you hold him responsible? Well, the generals on the ground, of which a number have been killed by the Ukrainians, but the generals on the ground in the battle are at risk of being arrested. They could be captive of the Ukrainians, and the Ukrainians could hand them over to The Hague and others for war trials. Putin, on the other hand, is pretty isolated. He's not coming out to cross the border. He's not going to visit his troops in the Ukraine. And he's not telling his people what's happening. You know, go back to our discussion of news earlier. The fact that in this country, while we may not like all the news that comes out of CNN or Fox, the fact is we have a choice and we can get all the news. Because if we listen to all of them, we will be able to get the news and know what's happening. Not so in Russia, where the state only tells you what the state wants you to hear. And consequently, Putin's approval ratings are through the roof because the Russians don't know any better. Now, there are attempts through social media and what have you to try and get some of the news to the Russian people with limited success. But what do you do if we come to the conclusion Putin is a war criminal? What's the punishment? How do you effect that punishment? How do you take him to trial? Do you have a trial in absentia? You could. You could label him a war criminal and convict him of war crimes. You'd, in effect, totally isolate him from the rest of the world. But that'd be about it. Not totally the rest of the world. He could get on his airplane and fly to China, for example. But you could greatly restrict him. You could put even more sanctions on the government to force the government to fold. The problem with that is it hurts the people who are not war criminals. Sanctions are fine to force a government to do something if the world is in agreement and the world upholds it. But the only time that's ever been successful is South Africa. Unilateral sanctions do nothing. We've had them on Cuba for years. What's that done for us? Not a thing. But labeling somebody a war criminal and trying them, convicting them, I don't know, is that a feel-good thing for the world? Should it be done? Well, if he's a war criminal, yes, something needs to be done. He needs to be held accountable. Maybe a war trial in absentia is the start. You're not going to capture Putin. Not going to happen. And he's not coming out of his motherland, so you can. And the world does not have a taste for going to war with Russia on a global scale. So we're not going to invade Russia and arrest Putin either. But at some point in time, somebody's going to have to be held accountable for what's happened in the Ukraine. To me, it's Putin. He's the guy in charge. He's the guy that instigated it. And he's the guy responsible for it. Now, maybe there are others you would also take to trial, some of his generals who allow it to happen. But the reality is, you're not going to get Putin. Take a break, and we will be back with more.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier. In Empower Your Retirement, they talk about how a well-thought-out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Business trip coming up soon? Finally, taking that much-needed vacation. MBS International Airport is your premier airport for personal and business travel. With services through Delta and United Airlines, you will feel upgraded as soon as you walk through the door. Book your flight today at mbsairport.org and let us help you see the world.
Your local radio stations are here for you. No subscriptions or monthly fees necessary. We're here to give you the news, weather, and traffic you need and the music you love. But if the foreign-owned record labels get their way, it could stop the music. They want Congress to force radio stations to pay them more money simply to play their music. Don't let radio go silent. Text LOCAL to 52886 and local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Research shows that people remember radio ads with a booming voice that emphasizes all the main points. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
That part is super important.
Here's one with a booming voice.
I'm emphasizing everything.
Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance.
Like a page with every word highlighted.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Liberty, 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 liberty.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am Hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at I Am Hunger in America. Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Broadcasting from the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios. This is WSGW.
All right, we're back with you, and apparently Bill in Frankenmuth is back with us. Bill, good morning.
Good morning, Art. This is Bill. I called before, but I had to hang up. I had to take a business call.
Yep.
Just a quick thing on commentary that you're relating about the news feeds and to what one should pay attention, if at all possible. And my background story on all this is that I try to get as many different approaches to any commentary possible. As much as I can possibly listen to it when I'm during the day, I listen to NPR until it becomes painful. And the other things is I used to subscribe to USA Today, but that all clouded with, commentary about, at the time, Donald Trump. I don't mind that he's chastising Donald Trump. He's a person, because of, unfortunately, his verbal outbursts, often deserves it. But, it just became just concentrated with everything else being washed out on it. So I switched over to the Wall Street Journal, and which, gives you at least mostly a bipartisan view, not always, because we know it's somewhat of a conservative thing. But unfortunately, as you pointed out, and as I think anybody intelligent knows, that people pick up specifically on whatever reinforces their attitudes. And you well know that there probably is at least 30% of our populace out there that still thinks Donald Trump colluded with the Russians, and 30% of our populace thinks that the election was stolen from him. In spite of all the information that is obviously to the contrary to each, but because they don't investigate opposing views and alternate, commentary on it.
Yeah. And, the good news, bad news is, the bad news is exactly what you've said, that these people, have these misconceptions. The good news is they're free to do that. It's all part of the game, and it's unfortunate, but it's reality. It's the nature of the beast in this country. Our freedoms allow us to be, be stupid as well as smart. You're free to be stupid if you want,
Isn't that wonderful? And the thing is, very simply, if you don't agree, turn it off. If you agree, if you don't want to listen to anymore, just, turn it off.
Yeah.
It's the most elementary thing in the world. At least we have the ability to access other bits of information that may be supportive or contrary to it. And it's just unfortunate that more people that subscribe to that idea.
Here's the problem with your suggestion, though, because what's happening is people are taking that to heart. If they don't agree to it, they don't want to hear it. So they turn it off. So the only thing they turn on are people saying what they want to hear. And I think you lose something when you turn off the opposing views, because not only are the opposing views valid from the standpoint of those who believe them, but it could also validate your point of view. You may hear something that validates your point of view rather than distracts from it. I thoroughly, in many cases, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. My apologies.
No, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
The thing is, you have to listen. I say the option's always there, but the reality is, you have to listen. You have to listen to what people say, because you never know. They may have some piece of information that you have missed that alters your perspective of something. And you're never going to get that piece of information if you don't listen and possibly subscribe to some of their views.
Yep. Absolutely. Fully agree. And Congress ought to take those notes. No one can
actually pay attention to something.
Yeah, no one can tell me that only one side has all the right ideas. There are good ideas on both sides. The question is extracting them and putting them together that makes sense for the American people. So I don't know. Just life.
Exactly.
All right.
Have to piece together mosaic of views.
Yep.
That does it. Hey, enjoy your day. I always enjoy listening to you, Art, but I'm one of the old devils. You are 1 year older than I am, so I'm still a mere child.
Oh, good. Okay, you're a young'un. Thanks a lot, Bill. Appreciate it. Have a good one. Take care. Yep. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Art. Good day. Good luck with it.
Thanks. Yep. Bye-bye now. All right, Paul, hang on. We'll get to you in a moment.
Hemlock Public School District is proud to announce they are the Innovative District of the Year in 2022. This vibrant school community offers engagement in extracurricular activities from sports, drama, fine arts, robotics, and more. Hemlock Public Schools is a leader in innovation, collaboration, and education with programs from the to early middle college. Call us today at 989-642-5282. That's 642-5282 or hemlockps.com. Hemlock Public Schools, excellence in education. Enroll today.
At Wildfire Credit Union, our team will tell you that everything we do is for our members because it's about you, always.
I just had a conversation with a member who lives near Traverse City. Mildred has been a member with Wildfire in some way, shape, or form for over 50 years. Wildfire is her preferred financial institution. Same for her daughter who lives in Connecticut. Neither one of them has ever stepped foot in any of the Wildfire branches. Yet they both receive a level of service to rave about. It just goes to show you that it doesn't matter where you live, Wildfire is here for you.
Being a trusted resource for your finances, delivering marvelous experiences no matter where you are. That's Wildfire Credit Union. It's what we do every day. Find out for yourself. Call 800-227-2328. Click on wildfirecu.org or come by any Wildfire location to experience banking the way it's supposed to be, where it's about you, always. Wildfire Credit Union. Distinctively better. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit .com.
Trying to find when and where you can hear the Tigers, Red Wings, Michigan football, and basketball, Saginaw Spirit hockey, and SVSU football on WSGW? Just click on the sports broadcast box on WSGW.com for complete game time listings. That's WSGW.com.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robbins show,
Bette Midler says it's your fault you're paying so much for gas.
Yeah, okay, Beth. Thanks a lot. Go away, please.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
All right, we are back with you in the waning moments of the Art Lewis Show. Paul is in Saginaw. Paul, good morning.
Good morning, Art.
Morning.
Art, I want to talk about a different subject here. I want to talk about the decline of marriage in the family. In 1947, in Los Angeles, California, government statistics indicated that there were 5 divorces for every 6 marriages in LA. Before that year, in the 35 major cities of America, and I'm not talking rural America, I'm not talking middle America or small town America, I'm just the 35 major cities of America. Before that year, there was only 1 divorce for every 2 marriages.
Okay, let me throw something in here.
All right.
What happens in Hollywood isn't representative of what happens in the country. I don't
That's
care what
true,
happens in California.
But as you know, California is the original trendsetter for the whole country. What happens in California usually...
Well, I would say this. And the last time I looked, which was a long time ago, statistically, we were losing about half the marriages in the country. In other words, about 50% were ending in divorce.
That's the way it is now, right?
And
that's all across America.
And that's all across the country. That has nothing to do with California.
Right. Right.
But that has nothing to do with California either. It has to do with a whole bunch of things. In the fact that the newer generations don't take their marriage vows quite as seriously as the older generations did.
Absolutely.
So I'm not surprised. That just that, and when we're, what else are we doing? We're moving away from religion in this country, less and less organized.
Right.
While a lot of people still profess faith in God, they don't seem to want to practice the way we used to. So
Right.
none of that surprises me. I mean, that's it's been going on for a long time.
Well, I think that's a symptom of our world right now, of what's going on in the decline of values and everything.
Well, that's
going
part of
down
it.
the
Sure,
tubes.
it's one value that's declined, and there are others, no doubt about it. But it's nothing to do
Stuff like that.
with California. And California is a whole different animal. California,
But
we think California leads the way, but in reality, California doesn't lead the way. I mean, they have their own world out there, and they live in it. And I personally don't understand it, and wouldn't want to live in it. It's just me.
well, California gets a lot more publicity than, say, North Dakota.
Well, it's because they do a lot more.
And Maine and stuff like that. So
They do a lot more, and they tend to
Right.
they tend to buck the trends. So they
Right.
do things that nobody else is doing, so they get a lot of attention for it. Not always good.
Right.
Not always
Right.
good, but that's the nature of the beast. California, you have to remember, the home of Hollywood for years and years, and Hollywood is nothing but a big publicity machine, and California
Right.
is the same, big publicity
Right.
machine.
It's all show business. It don't matter if it's good publicity or bad publicity. It's still good publicity.
That's true. But California has a lot of good things going for it, by the way. I mean, it's an agricultural giant. Much of the
Right.
food we get and the vegetables and things like that come from California. Nothing wrong with that. It's a
Right.
great state in a lot of ways, but in other ways, who wants to follow what they do out there, and who can afford to live there? That's the part I can't understand. I mean, the cost of living in California
either.
is astronomical.
I can't understand it either.
So,
But they keep doing it.
well, they
All
keep
right.
doing it, and then they keep electing people to do it. So that's what they must want.
I know it.
All
I
right.
don't understand that either.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
take care. Bye-bye now.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, that'll do it for calls. We'll take our last break, come back and close out.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. The heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem.
10 gallons of gas, cash or credit?
Yesterday's lottery ticket won't fill up your tank because when you're feeding a gambling problem,
Okay, your grocery total is $98.
it's difficult putting food in your bills and keeping your life together. If you or a loved one is struggling with gambling, get free confidential help at michigan.gov/problem gambling. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for JB's Market in Munger. You are going to get 2 4-packs of breakfast brats for only $5. JB's breakfast brats are delicious, and they're an all-day brat. You can either eat them in the morning with your eggs or on a bun in the afternoon. Don't forget to follow JB's Market on Facebook. Every Monday, they post their weekly ad. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal. RocketGrabPlus.com.
Your happiest spring starts with Lowe's, and it all starts with getting outside with lots of friends and family. Get those spring gatherings going with our 5-piece dining sets at our everyday low price starting at $6.28. Then cook up an endless amount of possibilities with our Blackstone griddle starting at $2.99. Create a season full of togetherness and make spring sizzle. At Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Selection varies by location while supplies last. About 331 for 4.6.
Hey, moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, WSGW and Fashion Square Mall are inviting you to bring out the kids and grandkids for some fun. Saturday, April 16th at Fashion Square Mall, it's our kids' world from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. 3 hours of activities and events, sponsored by Francis Ray Academy. A family-friendly day for everyone, powered by Sarah Automotive in Saginaw. Enjoy the bounce houses, brought to you by Bouncing Bellas and MBS International Airport. Easter Bunny Pictures, sponsored by Freeland Sports Zone Summer Camps. An Easter Egg Hunt, sponsored by LifeChurchMichigan.com. A stage for events, sponsored by with some prize giveaways, on-site vendors, and more. Something for all ages. It's our kids' world at Fashion Square Mall. Saturday, April 16th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Presented by Fashion Square Mall and WSGW. Find information online at WSGW.com.
All right, that'll do it for the Art Lewis Show for today. We thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with lots more. Focus coming along after the news. And on Focus, we'll talk to Tom Roy from the Saginaw Area Fireworks. Start thinking ahead, believe it or not. The show's coming. It's not that far down the road. So we'll talk to Tom about that coming up on Focus right after the news. I'm Art Lewis. Talk to you then.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kafin. Allegations of Russian atrocities in Ukraine being heard by the United Nations Security Council. President Volodymyr Zelensky wants tougher action against Moscow. Rosemary DiCarlo is a top aide to the UN Secretary General.
Indiscriminate attacks the international humanitarian law and may amount to war crimes. The massive destruction of civilian objects and the high number of civilian casualties strongly indicate that the fundamental principles have not been sufficiently adhered to.
Secretary of State Blinken is off to consult with NATO allies.
This reinforces our determination and the determination of countries around the world to make sure that one way or another, one day or another, there is accountability for those who committed these acts, for those who ordered them.
CBS's Deborah Patta visited the Kyiv suburb Bucha to see the scene of bodies in the streets and mass graves.
Personally saw evidence of war crimes, and these stories can't be staged, and the overwhelming grief that I've witnessed, that just can't be manufactured.
Well, 2 arrests have been made in connection with the mass shooting in Sacramento. The hunt is on for multiple people. Among the 6 people killed, Penelope Scott's son, a father of 4.
I'm hurting so bad because the person that he's a good kid. He took care of his babies.
There's word Ivanka Trump is testifying remotely today to the House panel investigating the Capitol attack. Michigan Republican Fred Upton, one of the few in the GOP to vote to impeach Donald Trump, says he won't seek re-election to Congress. Sebastian Rojas and other residents of a 5-story apartment building scrambling for someplace else to live after being ordered out when the place was declared structurally unsafe.
I've had my whole livelihood in there, and you have to take it out within an hour or 2. And so it's kind of just astonishing. This is where I grew up. Having to take all your stuff, you have to figure out what's important to you, what's not.
Inspections were stepped up after the Surfside condo collapse that killed 98. Vanilla may sound plain, but as we hear from CBS's Vicki Barker, the smell of it is anything but.
Scientifically, is the world's favorite smell. That's based on an Anglo-Swedish study of 235 people from 9 different cultures around the world, from cities to mountains to rainforests, including some remote communities that had never smelled vanilla before.
Wall Street right now, the Dow is down 9 points. This is CBS News.
There's always something new under the sun. CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh & Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune Health Michigan with the Macintoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Why are you paying full price when you know that you can save money at RocketGrabPlus.com? You can check out our deals right now from Salon Blue Day Spa and Boutique, 120 Fitness, Uplift Creative Center, Woody's Hot Dogs, One and more, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Live and 790 Newsroom. This is WSGW News.
Cloudy skies and 40 degrees at 11:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Burchuk. Saginaw City Council has formally welcomed Delta College President Dr. Michael Gavin to the area. Here's WSGW's Rick Antonio.
Stepping into the role last fall after the retirement of Dr. Gene Goodnow, Dr. Gavin was able to share with Council his goals for Delta and the city of Saginaw, focusing on diversity and inclusion. He says within his several months in the role, he and his staff have been working on ways to reduce opportunity gaps often caused by community inequities. Dr. Gavin also focused discussion on the new Delta downtown Saginaw, how many who were limited in following a higher education because of transportation, as well as formation of the upcoming dual enrollment program with Saginaw Public Schools. Rick Antonio, News Radio 100.5 and 790.
The death, once believed to be caused by a hit-and-run crash in Aranet County, is now being investigated as a reckless driving incident. On April 9, 2017, witnesses at the scene of the death of 23-year-old Nicholas Newman of Midland told police he had been struck by a vehicle that fled the scene. The crash occurred at South Foster Road in Sims Township. Police were never able to find a suspect vehicle. Now, police have begun investigating the possibility an identified female were riding in the back of a pickup truck driven by 29 of Bay City and fell out of the vehicle after a party in the All Gray area. Police say the female victim continues to recover from her injuries sustained that evening. Leuenberger is charged with reckless driving, causing death, and is currently out on bond. Police say a second suspect will also receive charges from the incident. WSGW News Time, 11:07.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier and empower your retirement. They talk about how a well-thought-out financial difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free your retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
WSGW News Time, 11:08. The weather forecast is coming up next. A 7-year veteran officer with the Grand Rapids Police Department shot and killed a man Monday side. An officer pulled over a vehicle around 8:10 a.m., and after running the license plate, the officer discovered it didn't match the car. The driver got out of the car and fled the scene after he was aware he was going to be taken into custody. When the officer caught up to him, they were involved in a lengthy fight that ended with the officer opening fire and killing the man. It's unclear if the driver was armed. During the struggle, the officer lost his body camera. At an afternoon press conference, Police Chief Eric Winstrom said he intends to release time next week. The officer was injured. Michigan State Police will be taking over the investigation. Bariatric surgery may help some adolescents with severe obesity, but many may not pursue the option, according to a new study. Here's health reporter Dr. Deanna Lights.
Lack of information, issues with cost, and social stigma may be reasons adolescents with severe obesity are not undergoing bariatric surgery. Small study from the University of Colorado. Dr. Wendy Miller is medical director of the Weight Control Centers at Beaumont Health.
I think it's great that this study is bringing this to the forefront, that bariatric surgery is an effective treatment for adolescents. There's a lot of work to be done in terms of improving the access to care for them.
It's estimated that 4.5 million young people in the United States are severely obese.
A Wexford County woman who took a child has been sentenced. In February, Tamala Taylor pleaded guilty to embezzlement from $1,000 to $20,000. Taylor also agreed to pay restitution to the victim in the amount of more than $32,000. Wexford County Circuit Court Judge Jason Elmore has now sentenced Taylor to 24 months probation, the restitution to the victim, and standard fines and costs. Taylor used the money of her adult child. Taylor used the funds from the adult child's money for her own purposes between 2018 and 2019, while her child resided in an adult foster care home in Manton in Missaukee County. WSGW News Time 11:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Partial sunshine develops here for today. We'll see a high into the mid-50s. Winds out of the east around 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly cloudy skies and a low near 43. By Wednesday, a chance for rain showers here, cloudy, high of 56 degrees. Then on Thursday, a chance for some rain showers late, cloudy, and a high of 50. Friday, mostly cloudy skies, high of 47. Then on Saturday, cloudy sky conditions, a high. Sunday, mostly sunny, high 51 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently, it's 41.
Now, it's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
All right. Welcome to another edition of Focus on WSGW, brought to you by RoofMax, the safe, proven, and affordable alternative to expensive asphalt shingle roof replacement. Find out about RoofMax online at roofmax.com or call Ben at 989-859-6751. That's RoofMax. And of course, RoofMax has 2 X's. We'll introduce you to our focus guest in just a moment. But before we do that, it's time to play WSGW's Baseball Bucks, presented by Stone Specialists. Right now, you can qualify to win the daily cash prize of $1,000 by entering the following word online at WSGW.com. And the word this hour is Baltimore. The Baltimore Orioles, right? Baltimore. It's an Alpha Media company-wide contest. Must be 18 or older to play. 1 winner chosen each day. Complete rules at WSGW.com. Baseball Bucks, presented by Stone Specialists on WSGW. We're going to talk about the Saginaw area fireworks today. Big show coming up on July 4th. And with us to talk about it from the Fireworks Committee, he's the chairman. We say good morning to Tom Roy. Tom, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. How are you today?
Hey, we're doing well. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's start. Before we talk about this year's show coming up, how did we do last year? All the bills paid and everything done?
All the bills are paid. We had a little bit left over. So we started out with a little budget, in the black. So we're waiting to start fundraising and making everything go great this year.
Wow. It was a pretty good show last year, of course, after COVID. Now we get back to normal again. How big a show are we looking at this year?
Be a little bigger than last year because we always want to be 1 year, do a little better from this year from last year. But I will tell you that costs are a little higher with inflation and the container problem. It's really bad. It's our fireworks are going to be above 35%.
Wow.
So what we paid last year is going to be 35%.
That's a heck of an increase. That's more than inflation. That's huge.
Yeah, it's the containers and it's the problems over in China with making the fireworks. It's the Chinese New Year. It's a bunch of things that just sort of added up.
So, having said all that, are the fireworks arriving?
Yes, we've had conversations with Wolverine, and we are secured, making sure that we're going to have our fireworks. And I believe half of our show is already there. So we are on tune for having, of course, July 4th fireworks better than last year's show.
So that means you now have to get serious about raising the money. So where do you start? What are you doing?
Well, we've had bingo for the longest time, and tonight, matter of fact, is one of our bingo nights over at Casey Hall, where the progress was up to $4,500. So that's a great fundraiser. And then Wednesday, we're going to be over at the Spirit Game selling the 50/50. And then later this month, Pete Wilsey from the Lions invited us to do the fish fry for the Walleye Festival. And then
really?
Mother's Day. Yes.
Are you going to do the fish fry, right?
Do everything.
Because originally I had heard, and I had talked to somebody from the Walleye Festival, and they were saying that they didn't have one. They didn't have a nonprofit to do the fish fry. So you are going to do the fish fry.
Yeah, Pete Wilsey reached out to us and asked if we would be interested, and I talked to my board, and they said yes. Like I said, we're hunting for money, and that was another way to.
Now you're going to be doing that at the Sports Zone.
Yes,
great.
Sports Zone.
All right, fantastic, fantastic. Yeah. That's very good news.
It's really great when 501c3s work together, and that's a great thing. Partnering with another 501c3 that helps everyone.
Absolutely. Let's go back to the bingos for a minute. Everybody speculated for a long time that with casinos opening up, bingos would take a hit. Are they still successful?
They are. I will tell you, many years ago when my mother used to go to bingo, I went with her, and the crowds were about the same. So, I think it had a little up and down, and now it's back up to normal. It's
good to hear.
Maybe 100 to 115 people.
Well, that's good to hear. And, nonprofits, they thrived on bingos for years and years and years. I was involved with them, and it was the way you made your money, back then. So,
yep. And maybe one of these days we'll get you over there. Maybe we can call some numbers for us.
Here we go. N35. Yeah, I remember those days well.
There you go. Exactly.
I used to do that.
There you go. Bring you back.
Yeah. And so we're going to take a break, Tom. We come back. I know you're also involved with the East Side Soup Kitchen. We'll talk a little bit about the fireworks and the East Side Soup Kitchen with Tom Roy when we return here on WSGW.
While you're comfortable inside your home or business, the weather takes a toll on your roof. Wind, rain, hail, UV rays, and the heat of the sun cause premature failure of your shingles. Everyone loves to save money. If you have an aging roof, don't spend a lot of money on replacement. Get a Roof Max shingle treatment and get some peace of mind. Get more life for less money, guaranteed with Roof Max, a powerful fusion of science and nature. Call Ben today at 859-6751.
When it comes to cereal disease protection, Prosaro Pro 400 SC fungicide from Bayer makes all the difference. With 3 effective overlapping control of foliar and head diseases and a flexible application window for head scab, it's formulated to lower DON, protect yield potential, and promote superior grain quality. Prosaro Pro, the future of plant health starts here. Visit prosaropro.com to learn more. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
Annette Glenn pledged she'd fight to cut car insurance costs. She pushed legislation giving drivers more choice, reducing premiums. Coming soon, a $400 refund check per vehicle. Annette Glenn got the job done. Paid for by Annette Glenn for State Senate.
Hey guys, there is that all men should take very seriously. Your prostate health. Are you urinating more frequently? Are you waking up at night to urinate? Are you sick and tired of prostate pills that just don't work? Sound familiar? If you are one of the millions of men with prostate problems that are driving you nuts, there is some great news. Prosthogenics is the all-natural product that beat over 157 other prostate supplements in lab tests and was rated the #1 most powerful prostate supplement in the world. #1, because it works. So why not try some Prosthogenics, and your prostate troubles will be a thing of the past. You'll get a great night's sleep and stop waking up at night to go to the bathroom. To get your free bottle of Prosthogenics, call now 800-600-2020. That's 1-800-600-2020. Take advantage of our 90-day money-back guarantee. Call 800-600-2020. Do it now.
Carrie, can you make sure Ada's cleaned up?
Restaurant Week has Sanjay's tables jam-packed.
Can somebody please refill the...
He needs more servers to keep these new customers coming back.
Let's keep these tables turning as fast as possible, okay? Gonna need to hustle.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resume match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The WSGW Morning Team Show.
WSW online poll, the Detroit Tigers 2022. After several struggling years, Tigers showed signs of life last season with potential future success. Is this year that maybe Casey Mize really dominates? Will the most noted new addition, Javier Baez, spark more offense and a better defense? Do Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green get significant playing time? That leads to our poll question. What will the Tigers do in 2022? Tigers finish below 500. Finish 500 or better? Will the Tigers make the playoffs? Will the Tigers play in the World Series?
That'd be a bit ahead of schedule.
It might be. What do you think the Tigers do in 2022? We want to know from you. Head to WSW.com. Scroll on the homepage, find the online poll box, and make your votes, please. All starts April 8th, opening day. Of course, all the games coming your way for a 55th consecutive year on WSW 790, your home for Tigers baseball.
The Morning Team Show, weekdays 5:30 to 9 on WSGW. This is the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios of WSGW.
All right, we're back. We're talking to Tom Roy, head of the Saginaw Area Fireworks. And Tom, you're also involved with the Eastside Soup Kitchen. What's your involvement there?
Well, we got a tour of the facility. Diane gave us a tour of the facility, and it was a really nice facility. I mean, we asked the board, well, what can we do sort of help them? So on our bingos, if they bring up 5 cans of food, they get a jackpot for a quarter, and all that food goes to the Saginaw Soup Kitchen. And then we also, because they have some volunteers, we thought they could partner with us with the cans, and all the cans that we get, we'll split in half with them because they're going to help do the sorting and the separating of the cans and the bottles. So that's one way we can help.
Yeah, that's, and I was going to get to the cans and bottles because I know in the past I've taken bags and dumped them in the back of a pickup truck. How are you doing that this year? How are you collecting the cans and bottles, and where are you doing it?
We're going to do the same place over on Warwick and Davenport, Valley Real Estate. We're going to have our dump trucks out there probably today or tomorrow, where people just dump their cans in, and what we'll do is we'll take them over to the Eastside Soup Kitchen, and hopefully Diane and their volunteers, we can separate them, not separate them, but separate the cans and the bottles, and we cash them in, and then we just split the profits.
Where do you cash them in? Because you'd have to spend a heck of a lot of time at those machines in the grocery stores.
Well, Fabiano Brothers has been gracious enough to accept our cans and our bottles. Yeah. So what we do is we put them in one of Bill George's semi trucks, and then we just drive it over to Fabiano Brothers, and they just unload them, and then they usually send us a check in 2 days.
That's pretty cool. That's a great idea. Great idea. So what other go ahead.
A lot better.
Yeah. What other fundraising activities will you have throughout the year?
We're going to have our pancake breakfast, which is going to be on Mother's Day over at the Moose. And then we're having a wine tasting. We're going to have a golf outing. That those 2 dates are still going to be, determined. We don't know what the weather right now. And then we do our raffle tickets, where we have our. We usually give the first place. Is going to be this year. It's going to be instead over in the Grand. We thought we'd do it over at the Soaring Eagle. So they get 2 nights there with a spa treatment. That's first place. And then we used to give a TV for second place, but with gas prices, we thought we'd give a $400 gift certificate for gas. And then third place is another $100 gift certificate for gas.
Any thoughts of ever bringing back the auction?
We have, but I will tell you, we sort of coincide with the wine tasting. It's, it sort of works sort of together because we have a lot of silent auction items on there. We have never really auction items on the wine tasting, but we have thought about it. It just takes a lot of work, and that's one of the biggest problems is, we can keep grabbing money, but it's the volunteers that it's really hard to find.
And that's the next question. How are you doing with volunteers? Because you need a lot of them, don't you?
Yes, we do. The 4th is the biggest day where we need all the volunteers. But we're reaching out to everyone that we know, like the SCBA. We're getting some volunteers from them, and in the soup kitchen, thank God, they're helping us out, and we just basically ask for help.
Well, Tom, listen, we wish you well. It's always a big show, the 4th of July. It takes a lot of money, and we appreciate your efforts because you spend a lot of time on it, no doubt about it.
Thank you. I do want to add that this year I'm not only also going to have a little flight show with a vintage warbirds.
Oh, really?
4 vintage airplanes are going to be flying a little bit during the 4th.
Wow, that'll be fun. All right, Tom, we'll talk more before the fireworks, I'm sure. So we'll see how you're doing down the road.
Most definitely.
Take care, my
And
friend. Yeah.
Don't forget B1 M35. we can have your voice out there, okay?
We'll have to work on it. We'll see. We'll talk. All right.
All right.
Talk
Thank
to you.
you.
Tom Roy from Saginaw Area Fireworks. We appreciate his time this morning on Focus. We'll be back to close out.
Hometown feel and big time winning. That's Saginaw Eagles Landing, the place where everyone